If you've discovered betrayal in your relationship, whether it's infidelity or maybe a hidden addiction that has come to light, and you find yourself unable to leave despite the agonizing pain and the fallout that's come from that, you may be asking yourself, like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, the answer is nothing is wrong with your character, but something profound has happened to your biology. You're likely experiencing a trauma bond. And today we're going to break down exactly how your own survival instincts have been hijacked. And at the end, we're going to share one specific reality testing strategy that's essential for breaking this chemical cycle. So let's start again, Caleb, with what is a trauma bond?
What is a trauma bond? So in the last two videos, we did talk about how trauma bonds operate, and that has been more in the context of domestic violence, which is where you most commonly see that. And that's super helpful to have that perspective. But in this one, I wanted to just nuance the discussion towards betrayal trauma and how someone who has been betrayed can develop also a trauma bond in this context, not now around violence, but around having almost been violated, perhaps we could say. So we'll be talking later about the staying versus leaving decision and all that. But we are going to talk about how do you break this trauma bond, and we want to sort of hold that separate from do I stay in the relationship or leave the relationship?
Okay.
And that's where it differs from the domestic violence discussion where it's always you have to leave.
Right, your safety is priority.
Your safety is top priority, because there are much more betrayers who do their work and heal and become safe partners than there are violent people who heal and become safe partners.
Right. Right.
So it's a little bit of a different discussion, but it does center on this idea of well, if I stay, I don't want to stay on the basis of a trauma bond.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to stay out of a healthy decision.
Yeah. So this is kind of a nuanced video, and I don't think there's a lot of people talking about this. So I'm excited to get into it, right? So a betrayal trauma bond is both a physiological and emotional attachment that forms to a partner who has shattered your reality, shattered your trust. And in this case, it often happens through a cycle of where there's secrecy, maybe there's a little bit of discovery, there's gaslighting in response to that, or partial disclosures, and maybe the truth has come to you sort of over time. Maybe you suspected something and you were gaslit. It can get formed in sort of different ways, but it comes out of, or it is a product of betrayal.
Exactly.
Betrayal trauma bond in this case. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is your nervous system responding exactly as it was designed to. And when we talk about this bond, we sometimes compare it to Stockholm syndrome. It's that intense, illogical loyalty to someone who's actually the source of your danger.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the context of a relationship, this bond is fueled by something called intermittent reinforcement. So this is a powerful psychological concept. If your partner was cruel 100% of the time, you would likely leave. Or if, for example, they were betraying you or being unfaithful to you 100% of the time right out of the gate, you would have just not even got into that relationship.
Yeah, but they aren't.
Right.
And they give you crumbs of affection or periods of false reconciliation, followed by devastation. And this unpredictability hijacks your dopamine system. It creates an addiction-like dependency that feels like love, but it's actually a survival response.
Yeah, that's one way it can happen. I'm just kind of realizing there's sort of two sides to this. For some people, they felt like the relationship was there the whole time. There's the discovery or disclosure, and then it's devastation. And in that devastation, there is a cycle of hey, I'm being vulnerable with you now. I'm finally getting to see my partner who betrayed me, getting to understand them. And that feels intimate and connected. That's almost like the love bombing part of this, if you will. It feels very close. Although it's not love bombing, it's different.
Okay.
But then you discover a little bit more, or that they haven't told you anything, or maybe you get triggered by other stuff that's happening, and then it's back to your world being shattered.
Right.
And so it's intermittent of connection and terror.
So maybe this is why it's so important how disclosure takes place.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Because if I have one disclosure and it's everything, yes, my world is shattered, but I'm getting the truth.
You don't get into a cycle.
I'm not in this cycle where I want to believe it and I'm not sure if I can, but I love the person and yeah.
Yeah. So if disclosure was triggered to you, I think this trauma bonding can be especially sort of cemented in there.
Triggered?
Trickled, I should have said.
Trickled. Okay.
Yeah. Trickled out to you in pieces. Yeah. So we could rabbit trail on that big time, but it's worth a mention. I'm glad you brought it up. But yeah, let's talk about biology, like the biological hijacking that happens alongside this between like fear and relief and going back and forth. And this might help sort of you understand a little bit of the confusion that comes with these kinds of situations. So like in a healthy relationship, if you get scared, you go to your partner for comfort. That's what's supposed to happen. It's good.
Yeah. But in a betrayal trauma, the person scaring you, the person causing the trauma, is also the person you want to run to for comfort. Like this causes a massive conflict in your brain. Your amygdala, the fear center, is like just screaming, danger, danger.
Yeah.
And yet I want to run to them for comfort.
Yeah. So there's a dilemma. So in the same time then, because of that intermittent kindness or connection that we mentioned, your brain is seeking the dopamine hit that comes from their validation. Like if they could acknowledge what you're feeling, it would be so powerful, right? And you end up in this state of like cognitive dissonance where you're trying to hold these two truths about your partner. Like I love them or they're lovable. They've been good to me. And over here, they're destroying me. Like this is tearing me apart.
And then that dissonance is just exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. It leads to you like even bargaining with yourself. Perhaps at times trying to minimize the betrayal or engaging in self-blame just to lower the tension and get back to that feeling of safety. Even if it's an illusion.
Yeah.
Like we want the safety. It feels better to have that little bit of safety in that moment than
for sure.
Nothing.
It does. And that longing is valid. Like it's healthy. Of course you want safety, right?
Yeah.
I think what'd be useful here, Verlynda, let's take a moment to contrast like what healthy attachment looks like versus like a betrayal bond, what that might look like over here, okay?
Okay.
So in a healthy attachment, your partner is a safe harbor or a safe base. They're a launch pad for you to go out into the world from and grow, or a place to come back to. Maybe a safe harbor would be, I guess launch pads work now because they got rockets coming back to the same place.
Oh,
so new technology helps our metaphors out. But yeah, it's a place to go out and explore far away and then come back and get sort of refreshed, restored, rested, rebuilt with that person, right? That's healthy attachment.
Yeah, yeah. But then in a trauma bond, the partner, right, is the source of the danger. So instead of feeling like you can conquer the world, your world shrinks.
Yep.
Yeah. So you become hyper-focused on looking for the next betrayal, anticipating their next move or next deception just to survive.
Yeah.
You go into survival mode. Sorry.
No, it's good. And another huge difference then too is like consistency. So healthy love is consistent. Like you know where you stand with your partner. But in a betrayal bond, the defining features, or one of the defining features, is like there's intensity and there's intermittency. It's like the highest highs sometimes maybe and the lowest lows with no stability in between. Or maybe not highest highs, but moments of safety and calm and then lows. It varies a little bit from couple to couple, but sometimes like post-betrayal, we hear about our client couples having like the most amazing sex that they've ever had in their lives. And they're trying to rebuild this attachment bond through intense physical encounters with one another. And we don't say whether that's bad or good. If everybody's enjoying it, it's great. But
it may be coming out of a place of trauma, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah, it can be coming out of a place of trauma. It doesn't hurt to do it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
It may be coming out of a place of trauma. And then over here on the other side of that, you're also having like the loudest and longest arguments of your lives. So high highs, low lows.
Yeah. And that leads to the final contrast of like growth versus survival. So a healthy relationship encourages your individual autonomy. You know, whereas a trauma bond demands self-abandonment. Like, no, your reality is my reality. No, you have to take on my reality kind of. Yeah. And you slowly disappear kind of to keep the bond alive. And this is what can happen if the betrayal trauma is never resolved and the betrayer never does their internal work to become a truly safe and trustworthy person again, then you lose your self-autonomy.
Yeah, well, I think too, like you're supposed to let go of your damage from the betrayal without ever really having had it acknowledged or dealt with.
Yeah.
That's the loss of self, because that is part of your story now. It's real. It happened to you. You experienced it. And if you don't have that chance to have that fully acknowledged and validated because
they won't do the work.
They won't do the work, or you're still in your trauma, then your self is diminished.
Yeah.
And that contributes to this betrayal bond as well.
Yeah.
So really tough stuff to work through, to think about and figure out.
Yeah, you hear a woman saying, like, I feel like I've lost myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's part of this.
That could be part of what they're describing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, how do you know if you're in a betrayal bond right now? One of the biggest signs is feeling like you're stuck in that no man's land of I can't leave and I can't tolerate staying. It's, Added to this is the isolation that comes with it. Maybe you want to protect your betraying partner's reputation with friends, family, and community because you're hoping you guys can fix this. But that also means you can't talk to anybody about this huge hurt that has happened to you. And you start feeling very, very isolated.
Yeah. And then that often translates into fawning in public. You're trying to like please others, keep things looking good, just to avoid the nightmare of the social fallout that comes from being cheated on or betrayed, right? You may pull away from close friends and family because in that moment, you don't feel like you can talk to them and you don't want them to, detect that something deeply troubling has happened.
Yeah.
And yet, who do you have to turn to in that context?
Yeah.
Really, it's only the person who betrayed you.
That you can turn to.
That you can turn to.
It's not a source of safety all the time. It's intermittent now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that becomes like a super difficult dynamic where you have all this betrayal and now this trauma bonded relationship. And so naturally you can't detach from that reality because you're in it. So you begin to obsess over the details. You might catch them in a lie or a partial mistruth or even just something ambiguous. And then an hour or minutes later, you're apologizing to them for looking through their phone, right? So it can go like just sort of that vacillating back into the fawning or whatever. And so many times too, we hear of couples in this situation staying up to the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, like the endurance that they have to argue these things out or try to fix this. And because the body, the nervous system is like so activated, just trying to resolve to close the loop on this whole thing, figure out what actually happened. And that's the trauma bond activated, trying to make peace with the person who hurt you. And it's the roughest, most challenging stage of recovering from betrayal.
Yeah.
I think by far.
Can we back up for a second?
Yeah.
You say it's the most challenging by far of the whole betrayal process?
For many people, it would be, like the discovery is profound.
I was going to say, often the discovery is like, their world is shattered in that instant. And that's pretty rough.
It is, yeah.
So I just realized that I agreed with you without thinking about it, but I'm not sure that I would say that it's the roughest.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't make such evaluatory stages, but I have in my mind situations that we've worked with where people will argue from when they get home to work. They'll fight until like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. They'll sleep for an hour and they'll go back to work, and they will literally do that for several months. Yeah. And I just think that's got to be brutal. So
it's like rough on the body, maybe in like physically versus emotionally. I mean, it's emotional too. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't even know if we can say what's roughest or.
Yeah, so I'm going to back up and take the superlative out there. You guys can decide what's roughest in your own individual experiences, but that is a super rough stage. Yeah. You're at roughest.
I agree.
Can we go that way?
Agreed. 100%.
Yep. Thanks for clarifying that. Breaking the bond and just sort of nuancing this part for Linda and trying to find our way through this thoughtfully, okay? So some people choose to leave and rebuild their lives elsewhere after a betrayal. And some people choose to stay and rebuild their marriage from the ground up. And in either of those cases, breaking free from the trauma bond is not easy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So it can feel like breaking out of an addiction because betrayed partners get stuck in trying to resolve and close the loop on this huge relational breach to make sense of like how, why, all that stuff. But like the other kind of trauma bonds that we've spoken elsewhere of, the first step here is also establishing safety. That's the first step here.
Yeah.
And that might mean a therapeutic separation or strict emotional boundaries that begin to create safe emotional and physical space for you as the betrayed partner.
Yeah. And this often looks like asking the betrayed spouse to move out of the bedroom entirely, perhaps clothes and all, right? It's not for everyone, but many people, just to have one safe, familiar space in the house that they can retreat to in order to regulate their nervous system and find calm and do the reparative work like resting and journaling and prayer. Like to have that one space is so important.
Yeah.
And you will need distance or space just to let your nervous system regulate and help you break out of the trauma bond. It doesn't have to mean that you're leaving the marriage, and nor does it have to mean that you're staying, right? It's just kind of giving yourself the space and the time to heal so that you can make a grounded decision about the future of your relationship.
Yeah. And that is always something that we recommend, that you don't make immediate decisions in the height of the betrayal and the trauma about your relationship. I will admit that in our agency, we have a bias towards saving marriages where it is safe to do so, but we certainly don't make our clients do that or even like try to compel them to do that. Because we don't bear the consequences of whether they stay or go. So we want them very much to have be fully grounded in their own wisdom about what's right for them to do and their own values and convictions around that. Though when we see both partners do their personal work and their trauma work post betrayal and really get into the depths of what they have been going through and process their childhood, their family of origin stuff, that kind of stuff. And then when they build a new relationship on that foundation of a healthy attachment bond rather than a trauma bond, that new thing is often even more beautiful than what many non-affair marriages, if I can call it that, than what they experience, which may seem incredible.
I totally agree with that, but we are not encouraging having affairs so that you can get to this euphoric place after. Like if you both do your work in a non-affair marriage, you're going to get to this place too.
Yes, that is true.
Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah. It's not as good for our business. But for your sake, we highly recommend. Yes. Skipping this growth methodology.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Good clarifications. But we probably have people listening who've been through this.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I think what I'm trying to do here is I want to download a little bit of hope.
Yes, absolutely. There's hope. Okay, keep going. Because I'm all ears.
In the couples that we've seen do this, the intentionality is so much higher. Yes. And the partners are much more real with each other.
Because they've got so much to lose.
Yep. They achieve levels of vulnerability that are so much more precious. And sort of the trauma symptoms of the betrayal, when they're resolved through good trauma work, you can know that you're bonded because you have a new foundation together.
Yes.
And you'll carry, the great thing about trauma work is you won't use terror and fear and hypervigilance and all those things to protect yourself anymore in this relationship. But you'll have carried in your body now, you'll have developed the wisdom of knowing the signs of when a person is being unfaithful to you. So you don't lose the smarts that you gained from this horrible process, but you also now have learned what healthy attachment feels like. And if that, that ebbs and flows a little bit with life, with stress and that kind of stuff, and you'll know how to sense that and return to the equilibrium that is healthy, how to reach out.
Yeah. You can trust yourself.
Yeah. And that's such a different place from being trauma bonded to another person. I think that's really where we're going with this video, is that there is an experience here that is grounded, that is healthy and meaningful, that doesn't involve an activated, overworked nervous system.
Yes.
And all of the fallout physically and emotionally that comes from that, but that comes from returning to groundedness.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful thing.
Yes.
When people are able to get to this place. It's hard work to get there.
Yes.
But it is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we also need to recognize, though, that some people don't do the work.
Yeah.
Or they might fake it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of betraying partners here for whatever reason. Speaking to betrayed partners here, doing your trauma work will help you break this trauma bond, will help you internalize a new and deeper wisdom about what a quality romantic relationship looks like. So whether you decide to go because your betraying spouse is not showing that they're doing the work to become a safe person for you, or whether you stay because you can see that they are doing the work, whatever relationship you end up in next, elsewhere or rebuilt, or if you stay single, you'll have that confidence. It's not based on a trauma bond, but it's a genuine, secure attachment to a person that you can accurately evaluate whether they're safe or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful thing, to be making decisions from that place rather than a trauma place.
Yes, for sure. So recovery from a trauma bond is possible.
Yeah.
Just like your brain adapted to this very, very difficult situation, your brain can also form new patterns now, and your nervous system can learn safety again and what it's like to relate and operate in that environment. But you really cannot heal from betrayal through behaviors that are driven by unresolved trauma. So things like investigating and interrogating and hypervigilance, location tracking. I get why those seem helpful, why you're drawn to those to try to resolve these questions, these uncertainties, the anxiety that is so heavy in your nervous system. They don't resolve the trauma though, and they do promote trauma bonding. So that's why we want to just gently say, hey, like really think about what's going on here and how can you move away from the trauma bonding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're ready to find solid ground and a way forward, our specialists at Therapivo can help you start that stabilization process. You can book a free 20-minute consultation with us at therapivo.com. Like, you are not broken beyond repair, and you don't have to do this alone.
Yeah, certainly not. And if anything in this video resonated with you, please leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you, and we do respond to all the comments. Thanks for listening.